Welcome back to the Riff Podcast. I'm here with Henry, and today we're going to be just looking at a couple questions, just having a good time, going over, the random things that we just want to talk about. So, yeah. Henry, did you want to go bring up something?
Sure. Well, I don't know if you remember, but a week ago or a couple weeks ago, we talked, and you talked about how you are not on a time limit, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's society or cultural pressures, or I guess more evident family pressures, whatever.
Yeah.
They kind of put a time limit on you. You have to do university, right after you graduate high school or something.
Right.
But then, really, if you think about it, there's no real time limit, right? So, it's how life works. Everyone moves at their own pace.
Right.
But also, at the same time, you don't really want to be passive with everything, You don't want to live life, without some urgency.
Right. Right. For sure. So, and I think that a lot of people, they kind of lose that because they're so caught up. I feel like it's, for me, when I was, before COVID, I was living my life in a really, really urgent mannerism. It was revolved around, I need to do this fast. Right? Otherwise, I'm going to miss out on this, miss out on that. And COVID kind of really helped me to slow things down, way more than I used to.
Definitely.
And I think that changed the way I look at my life. I'm no longer in a rush to do things. I'm more so just working on my own time frame. So every single day, I'm just focusing on, what I'm going to do for the week, what I'm going to do for the day, and then what that's going to translate into the next month and years. And I feel like a lot of people should try something like that. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but trying to use yourself as a canvas for what you're trying to accomplish, right? And I think that's always why I always bring up the idea of understanding what you really want, not just what society puts onto you. What do you want? What makes you feel good? And why do you do things, right? Yeah. It's easy to say I like doing things because I just like it, but when you really I used to say that, and when I really looked into it, it was way bigger than what I just said, right? I love playing volleyball, and people used to ask me why, and I'm I just love it. But then when I really looked into it, it's because it's such a strategic sport, and it requires so much thinking and concentration. And you don't really when I'm on the court, I don't feel anything. It's just I don't think, I just feel, and I just do it.
Yeah.
So it's the coolest feeling ever. And when you understand it, it brings it so much more meaning. And the same thing, I think the same thing applies to life, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because I think you are the type of person that would think ahead, plan, whatever. Well, as for me, I ignored that. I don't see it.
What do you mean by that? Do you think you kind of when you were confronted with something, you kind of put it back for a second?
Not really, but in specifically towards again, you post-secondary education is coming up, right?
Yeah.
You again work on your own pace, but also you see other people kind of knowing where they want to go, how everything works, and it just means I'm not going to think about it for now.
And I can understand that, because that was me. I 100% feel that, and I feel that's a lot of people too.
Yeah.
But again, I just can't. I know it's easy to say because I'm not living the lives of so many people, but it's all about what you see.
Yeah.
You don't really realize it, but right now in COVID, when things are going on, people are always saying you're alone, right? That's kind of the source of a lot of problems. You're alone. But they don't see it as a potential solution to everything that's ever gone on in your life. During COVID, I've solved every single problem I've ever had in my life. I just solved during the past 2 years, and it was just the craziest thing to me, because I was why did I spend my whole life trying to do this, and then I solved it all in 2 years, and it just took me to actually confront it. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a little push to do so. But in terms of feeling urgency to kind of take that next step in life, whatever that may be for you, you have to kind of look about again, what do you feel?
Yeah.
Right? I'm not any I'm not in a position to tell people what to do or how to do things because like I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still young. But I think it's really cool to just like live as if like it's like people always say like live as if tomorrow's your last day.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, every single day I live like that, even though I'm not doing the most extreme stuff.
Yeah, but like not necessarily like live the last day, but more so like live in a way that like is fulfilling, if that makes sense. Like,
for sure, that's it.
Like I guess with the less extreme version of that say would be like to live for today, and
for sure,
kind of doesn't make sense, but yeah.
Like I always tell people to think like if you died today, would you and you had a second to reflect on everything you just did in that day, would you be happy with what you did?
Yeah.
And if your answer is no, you have to kind of question yourself, like, why is that? Right? And that's a very difficult question to kind of confront in yourself.
Yeah.
Right? But I think, like, it's really cool. Like, I think it brings you to so many more adventure. And I think, like, again, in terms of, like, living your life every day like it's going to end tomorrow, it's all about finding adventure within yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't have fun if inside here is, like, not... if you're not feeling good inside. You can't enjoy the outside world, even if you pretend. Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see things. Right?
Well, yeah, like you said, like COVID has, I guess, pushed you to do new stuff. Like I can't say I had like the same eureka moment or whatever, but I did like start stuff like that I didn't think I would actually do. Like at the beginning, I was like basically a couch potato. I did nothing. Like
I think most people were
on the internet or playing video games. Yeah, because like at a constant state of just like
boredom,
drifting. If that makes it. If that makes
drifting.
Sense. Like,
that's perfect. Yeah.
Drifting, yeah. But then like I kind of like I guess it's like I do again. It's not just like this point where you change and you just go up. No, it's kind of like
steady
like that, right?
Yeah.
And then they slowly improve. But like there's a point where like okay. I want to do something actually. So like, because of COVID, like of course COVID bad, but like, one positive for COVID for me at least, which is like, I always wanted to start cooking. I started cooking, and now I'm like, my skills are way improved compared to what it was before. Like I'm starting to work out more, like whatever. These things I started just because of, like again, this little push I had.
Yeah.
And then, like again, not really planning for like I don't know, I don't have a blueprint of my future, right? Like every single thing that I want. However, like these stuff or like these skills, I guess, like I could set a routine around, because like how I like, of course you don't want some spice in life, right? But I find comfort in like some sort of routine, you know?
Yeah, I think most people do. Yeah,
like having sort of routine helps me. Like again, it's like that homey like familiarness you have, where it's just like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And it's not like, like a military type thing with like, you have to eat now or whatever, but more so just like having some direction of what we're going to do for the day.
Yeah.
And then like with this, I can be like, in the future, I can like, instead of, I don't know, making instant ramen or like buying fast food, like it's just like, all right, I'll make this. Or like, because I'm exercising now, it will like train myself to exercise in the future when I probably need to exercise more.
And where did that epiphany come from? Like, when did you get that feeling?
Well, I guess one part would be like, I don't know, same for you, but like for me growing up, there's this push for like, you have to be productive, right? And well, at one hand, it's like, I don't want to read a book though. I do believe in that in a way. Like, of course, I'm not almost like grind every day, 100%. Like every day, every hour in life, you should do working or whatever, right? But I would like, you want to be like, you want to do something, so like you can be proud of for the day,
for sure,
right? Like, it doesn't need to be like this massive accomplishment, but it could be like, hey, today, I don't know, I don't do puzzles, but I made a puzzle, or like, hey, today I read this many chapters in a book, or like I finished this game I really want to play, or watch this movie, stuff like that. It's just like, okay, I did something I want to do that's really fulfilling, instead of just like scrolling on, I don't know, YouTube all day, whatever, watching something, just even, even in YouTube, like, there's some pretty good content out there,
right.
I would say, that you can watch, and then, like, yeah, I like what I did, so I guess with that, because, like, sorry, I forget what was the question, but, like I said, I just felt, like, again, just drifting, and then just realized, okay, wait, what am I doing, right? It's like, I'm doing nothing, and then just like I'm not even content, right? It's just like what's the word? Like
Coasting.
Slightly above, coasting, like slightly above boredom, but like I wouldn't say like
it's just like you just feel like you're existing. You're not really enjoying.
Yeah,
it.
You're existing.
Yeah,
and sure, like there's this mild like enjoyment out of what you're doing,
right.
but like, your head's on autopilot, right? And for me, engaging my mind could be like tiresome, but I like using my brain for stuff, I guess. So yeah,
I guess that's, and again, back to that thing you said about YouTube. It's okay to be on your phone all day. It is, right? Yeah. Obviously, it's not the greatest thing for your health, but if that's giving you something that is going to make you do better in whatever aspect of life that may be, it is going to help you improve something. I'm not telling you to stay on your phone all day. I'm saying if you're going to watch a YouTube video and it's about, how to get my life on track, how to wake up early, how to go to the gym, that's good. Because you're putting in an effort to actually make changes to your life.
Yeah.
Right. And the changes don't have to be massive. They don't have to like rip your world apart. It could just be like little tears.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people overlook so many people always want to get into the gym and they want to go, get their grades up and all this. Oh, 1 second. All these different things. Sorry, it went dark.
It's okay.
All these different things. For the audio listeners, my screen just went black. But all these different things that people want to do. Okay, there you go. It's fixed. And most people would stop because there's a slight inconvenience in the beginning. But that inconvenience, I see it as like, it's kind of like, I don't know if I'm using this term correctly, but like the devil's advocate. It's like somebody going out of their way, something, I guess, would be going out of their way to make sure that you don't do what you're doing. And when you can call that whatever you want. It could be like your inner, subconscious testing you, challenging you. And the way I see it, it's like myself challenging myself to see if I'm made of what can get me to the future. Like I see it as my future self putting things in my life to challenge me, to see if I'm big enough or, strong enough or smart enough or worthy enough even to go take on that next level of my life.
Well, yeah, it's like getting stronger. Like, I don't know if like it's the saying, whatever, but it's like how a tree needs to be hit by like strong gusts of wind.
Yeah.
Like, what's that story? But like how like trees were like grown in a lab or whatever, right? But when they tore it down or whatever, they like immediately collapsed because they couldn't. They weren't strong enough to like. They didn't experience like the adversity of wind to like remain tall, I guess. And I guess in some way that applies to us. Like okay, I'm of course like very sheltered, right? And so go through like some like not that you need struggle, but like I didn't go through some great adversity, but you do need some challenge
for sure,
so that to make you stronger. And like with again, like you said, like you need that challenge, like or like you challenging yourself to become stronger, like change or evolve, I guess,
And that boredom you were talking about earlier, that is like I feel bored. Like a lot of my life, I felt bored, like really bored, and I was always able to leave my house and come back. You know what I mean? Like you're always allowed to just go for a walk, and COVID wasn't there then. Right? There was no pandemic going around. You weren't supposed to stay in your home and stay away from people and wear masks and stuff. But I've never, and like the entirety of my life, I've never felt more free than the last 2 years. And that's probably the strangest thing a lot of people will hear, right? But I've never felt more free than in the last 2 years because I was able to just, I was doing everything I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And people are going to think maybe I didn't have any adversity. Maybe my life is different and all this good stuff. No, I wouldn't say I have the best life. I wouldn't say I have the worst life. I have a pretty normal life.
Yeah.
And the biggest things that actually got me off my butt to go try something new was me sitting there with myself and asking, what do I want? What do I really want? What do I want to see where do I want to be in the future? And where do I want to see myself? Right. And that question like burns in my soul every single day. Right. It's the whole reason we started this thing. Like it's what do I want to do? And who's it going to impact? Because that's always been the biggest thing for me. Like doing something not just for me. And I think that is a huge motivation for me. And I think it will benefit a lot of people too. When you take a problem that you're like maybe too lazy to do for yourself or too, tired to do for yourself, and you just decide on your own, like I'm not going to do for me, I'm going to do for that person. It changes your life. It will change your life. Right? And for a long time, like growing up, I was super like selfish. I would say super selfish, and I wasn't the worst person ever, but I was just really like self-obsessed, and I couldn't see a lot of things that was happening with me. And I got really humbled throughout my life. I got very, very humbled, and I'm so grateful for that because that really gives you a perspective, and that's what this is all about, right?
Yeah.
It really gave me perspective about what direction I want to take in my life, right? And that kind of goes into like another question we were talking about. Like a lot of people don't know what to do. Our lives are so sheltered and romanticized, and we don't know how we want to live. That was me. My life was pretty sheltered, and I saw my life as a movie from the day I was born, right? But as soon as I just took a back seat and I just sat and just pretended to be an extra in my own movie, I was really able to get perspective about what I want to do with my life. Because it's not just, you don't have to go around and do what everyone else is doing. You can really take a second and just do something different. Whether that be, getting up at a certain time or, complimenting the teacher at the end of the day. Like it's the little things that really change those things. Because once you, like I always say, it doesn't matter what you do, how big it is. If you're helping a person like feel better, you're doing something huge, massive.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it's just one person, because that person could go on to become like the next world leader and change the world because you did something nice.
Yeah.
That person could go on to like cure cancer or something because you decided to help them off the ground when they fell.
Yeah.
And I don't think people like. I know this is kind of like bouncing off topics to topics, but if you set your direction of life like through kindness and self-achievement, I think at least it's brought me a lot of good. I think it'll benefit like everybody, anyone who does it.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's kind of like something you haven't gotten to yet, or like something you've barely like? Have you seen that yet?
Well, think of like everything like it's a work in progress, right? Like I do agree with that. Like I try it would be like okay, sorry. Of course, everyone's different, right? And like. I think we're all guilty of like seeing this one guy or like I don't really like him or them.
Yeah.
Like oh you did that, but like it's so easy to do that, right? It's so and I'm guilty of like trash talking. Like I don't know the person, but like doing that. Doing like insulting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like having a judgmental thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like in a way it's like it's horrible. I mean it's not like absolutely the worst thing you could do, but like it's fun in a way, which is not necessarily the best thing. Right. But I do try to keep myself in this mindset where it's like, okay, that it's cliche. It's like, that's a human being right there, right? He has the same, or they have the same thoughts or whatever. Like maybe not the same as me, but just their mind is so jumbled in. Like my head is like I'm sure they want to be, or like they think they're doing good, right?
Right.
Or like they're wanting to be like the best person they can be or something, just like me.
Yeah.
Or like they're going issues too, just like me, right? So I just can't put them in a box or like simplify them. But,
yeah, for sure.
Like I'm so complicated or whatever.
Sorry, I keep leaving the screen.
I try.
I was a little bit stuffed, but yeah,
it's fine. But like I think that's what I try to do because like it's of course it's hard, right? But like. Even our friends or like family, whatever, we don't know the entire of them, right?
Right.
Like we just see a side of them, and maybe we see multiple sides. But even then, like
you don't know what they're going through.
So many, what they're going through. Like I forget where this from, but like there's this thing where it's like no one can truly understand another person because like truly understand because that's not how it works, like our perspective or whatever, right? And sure, you can get close to doing it, right?
I say about 90%.
Yeah, 90%.
And I say that 10% is huge in that comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't like 100% understand them, and if that's the case, why? Like for me, I don't want to like typecast or whatever the word is, just the one person based on a few like bad experiences or whatever, or like the way they look or something.
Right.
So again, it all comes down to like, to put it simply, like just treat people with dignity and respect, of course, right?
For sure.
And for me, like I want to try to show compassion and whatever. And on one hand, I guess like for me, you could say that like I find fulfillment or enjoyment out of like being useful or something, like, which is not necessarily the best thing, where because like you want to like validate yourself from who you are, right? Rather than like oh, I helped this person, I'm valid and worthy to exist. And that's not truly the case. Like you are worthy to exist in and of itself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, like you said, I do try to live, in a way that's just like, of course I'm selfish, I guess. But
it's hard not to be. It's hard not to be.
It's not hard not to be.
Yeah.
But I do try to like help others and again treat people with respect and like again, human being, whatever. And I think it would be pretty unwise to just like write them off as like inferior to you, which
I don't think you should ever do that. First of all, like I feel like that maybe comes from like an arrogant standpoint, which I had in the past for sure when I was way younger. But I think the whole judgmental thing, like I've judged people too, and what I've found is like it comes from a deeper place that most people don't really explore. And once I had done that, I realized like the problem I have with people is that it's just because of the way I was raised, right? It's the way I was brought up, as what I think, right? And there's a lot of things that I was like super not against, but it's just like I felt it didn't connect with me because it wasn't my lifestyle. And for so long, I was wondering why I was feeling so judgmental towards it. And I realized it was because I was not meant to be in that environment. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I left all those things, or as soon as those things, life moves on, you go off away from those things. As soon as I did that, my life was completely peaceful and content, and nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
Right? I was still putting myself in positions where I'm uncomfortable and I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm accomplishing new things, but I was no longer feeling judgmental towards anybody or anything because I just left it as it is. It's not my life. It's not my thing. I can leave it. It happens when you get too close to those things that don't align with you. That's when your life starts to go haywire.
Yeah.
And I think that people really need to pay attention to that, because if you feel like there's something negative in your life, address it. Whether that be a person, just say, hey, I feel like we have something like between us, like a tension or something, and I want to get something across. And if that doesn't go well, that's your sign. Right?
Yeah.
Really, really make sure like you address those things. And that's been the biggest thing in my life. I always, whenever there's something bothering me, I try to address it as soon as I feel it, and I solve it like as soon as possible. And that's always worked for me. Right? And I believe that like taking time, all that stuff is good, it's perfect. But if you really, really, really want to like progress, take less time judging other people and focus more on what's going on inside of you.
Yeah.
And then maybe like because of me doing that, I developed a really strong compassion for everybody. Mm-hmm. And that made me want to do things like this. And I think that the more people really focus on themselves, really what's going on inside their heart, they will find more fulfilling ways of living their life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to keep going? We can cut it off here. I think it's good, but if you want, we can keep talking.
Yeah. I'll just say one more thing. Like, again, I'm still work in progress, of course, and I'm so judgy, but like on one hand, I do kind of like it's a guilty pleasure to like be judgy, whatever, like snarky.
Yeah.
But like I always like I guess reset my head or to a point where it's like,
because you don't. It's not like genuine. Like you it's just kind of like you can always do that. No matter what anyone says, you're always judging people. Always.
Yeah.
It's when when you make an action out of it, that's when it's wrong.
Yeah, like when you actually like
hurt the person. Like
again,
it's okay to
dehumanize them in a way, or like
because like it's okay to think.
The issue comes.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
The audio listeners are just cringing right now. They're just hearing like a bunch of noise. Yeah.
Well, that's how talking works. I would also say that like one thing that I guess been helping me is like kind of blunt with it, but like to remind yourself like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, because I think even without noticing it, we think we're right a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even when I say, maybe I'm wrong, I still think I'm right, you know?
Yeah.
As contradictory as it sounds. Like, that's why I always want to consider, like, I should, like, really disagree with this person.
That's why that's the first thing I always do. I always say, am I wrong? I always question myself first. Right? Yeah. And you'll find that actually makes a positive reaction with the other person you're speaking with. Right? I ask them, am I wrong? Right? And sometimes it doesn't go well because people don't understand that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? And judgment, again, like I said, it's natural. It happens. Right? It's all about how you were raised, how you think, and all that stuff. You can change it. But when you have that negative thought about that person, try to shift your mind and see what's good about them.
Yeah.
And that just like takes over completely. Right? It doesn't matter. Like, obviously, there's some extreme consequences in situations, but try to really focus on what is better about them than bad.
Yeah.
Right. And it helps to have a conversation with them too. Don't just judge people from afar. Like, if you can, speak with them and see what you can figure out. You can learn something from every single person. That's what I've learned. Right.
Yeah. And, like even if even if you still think they're wrong, right? I think, at least for me, like there's always keep it open. Don't leave it black or white, right? Just always keep an open mind to everything.
Everything.
And, like just try to understand their point. Of course, certain things are just like a big no-no. Yeah. But I think we can agree that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, there's just like a bunch of shades of gray, not 50 shades of gray, but just a bunch of shades of gray.
Yeah.
And then that's why, like, I think we can all agree, like, we all had, like, we were all wrong. We're all wrong at
many times,
thinking this thing or whatever.
For sure.
And then we have to realize, like, maybe the situation here, like, I'm wrong with this thing, right? Because I'm not fully actualized or whatever, and to some point, I don't think you can ever achieve that. But I do think being open that you can, how do I phrase this? Like being open that you are still evolving as a person or whatever kind of helps you.
Still learning.
That makes sense.
Like this is something that will like stop you from growing further. Never like people say, "This is who I am." Right?
Yeah.
But that phrase, I hope people realize, like that doesn't limit you. This is who you are in this moment, but you can change in a minute.
Yeah.
You can change in a second.
Yeah.
You decide to be who you are. Your choices. You actively decide to be who you are. So if you find yourself in a position where you're doing something wrong and you're doing something that doesn't align with you, doesn't feel right, you can change. You can make a decision and just change. You can divert from that.
Yeah.
Right? And I think COVID is exactly like what has brought that out of my mind, because it stopped people from living the exterior life, the societal life that they're so accustomed to. But when they actually get like cut off almost, that is who you really are. The person you are, when you're at home and you're alone, that is you. Right? And a lot of people are going to say, different things about what they feel and do. But at the end of the day, that person who you are, like alone, is what dictates everything. This is who I am. It's a conditional thing. That is who you are if you decide to be that person for the rest of your life. And if you're happy with that, go for it. If you feel like there's a part of you that wants to do bigger, better things, or wants to pursue a life that's different from what you normally do, go for it. Go for it. And in most cases, you'll find that you feel happier afterwards. Right? My whole life, I thought I was this concrete person. and I was always like, I wasn't the most coolest kid at school, but I was still popular and whatever, right? There's always these things that come up. But once you get to a certain point, none of that matters. Right? You're just a person, especially during COVID. You lose all the societal pressures and all the societal expectations and everything that you are known for. Then who are you?
Yeah.
And to me, I am the result of my actions.
Yeah.
Right? And I try my best to do things that are good, so that no matter who sees it, they receive good. Right? This video is going to go and hopefully help a bunch of people. Right? It's inevitable that we're going to get some haters. Like, it just happens. But that is also, for me, that's reassuring, because the people who need this messaging are getting it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
That of who you are, right? Like, I guess back to trees, because I love trees today for some reason.
Yeah.
But just like a tree, like I know you have a tree, right?
Yeah.
A tree's a tree, and you leave. I don't know, a couple of years, you come back. That's so silly. But yeah, trees, right? A tree's a tree. You see a tree, like that's a tree. And then you leave a couple, I don't know, years or whatever. You come back,
It's
and
still
the
a
tree's
tree.
still there. Hopefully, no one cut it down.
Yeah.
Like it's still a tree, but also it's different, right?
Yeah.
It grew bigger or whatever. It's housing birds or has different leaves. Its color changed.
Yeah.
It's different. It like grew like that or
Got
something.
a couple cuts from here and there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's how a person can work. Like, you're still you, but you're still different. You're constantly growing, and that constant state of growing or changing or whatever is you. Because it's just like you have to kind of shift the way you perceive who you are in a way where, like, it's so easy to think of you as just a thing a constant,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but in reality, you're still changing, and whether if you notice it or not, it could be like just the smallest change. You're still changing,
right?
And I think, like with that mentality, like you'll grow. Like I still feel similar to the way I was like years past or something,
right?
But I can still see like that's a different person from what I am today,
right?
Like sure, it's still similar, but at the same time, I grew, hopefully,
right?
And yeah, I think that's just how I like to think of it.
For sure. And to finish that off, like if you are happy with yourself the way you are right now, don't limit yourself to growth.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're happy now, imagine how much happier you will be when you are constantly building yourself and growing and learning. Like that will expand your life in ways that most people won't understand. And then you can get to a point where, you're maybe 80 or 100 or 90 or whatever, and you're sitting there on your porch, like watching your grandkids or whatever. Like you're just watching your life proceed. And you can say, like, I did my best to get to where I am. I did my best, and I tried, and I did everything I needed to do to get to where I want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's more important than anything, right? Being who you want to be and bringing life to other people through that, right? And I think not a lot of people understand that, and the world doesn't put enough value on that. Like people don't realize how much potential they actually have until someone shows them, or they take a leap of faith and actually do something with it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a big takeaway. It's something that it's very deep, and I think that's what we're going to leave our viewers with today.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is how it's going to be every week, right? We're going to have a couple guests come in here and there. It's just a conversation. We're just chilling. We're just talking. We're trying to get people to feel comfortable with themselves in order to help other people too, right? We want you guys to be happier, and we want to grow through this channel as well. So feel free to subscribe, follow. We have an Instagram, a TikTok, a podcast, just audio, on the Spotify, on the Anchor. All those things are in the description. If you want to be a guest, email us, DM us on Instagram, _rift.initiative_. Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird name, but it is what it is. And yeah, we'll get back to you, and we'll see what we can figure out, see what we can get you on. Yeah. Anything you want to say before we go, Henry?
Nothing much. Just, I don't know, be a tree and grow.
Be a tree and grow. That's a good message. All right, guys. We'll see
Yes,
you
it's
guys
crazy.
next week. And yeah, take care. This has been Rift.
Yeah.
This has been Josh. And this has been Henry. See you guys later. Peace.
Bye.